All right, so here is the paradigm we live in today. This is what Harry Potter is all about. This is what Fight Club is really all about. These are the secret. This is a secret club. This is the witches and wizards, and then you can have some squibs, and you can have some witches, I suppose. But really, these are the witches and wizards. So, as you know, our society is sold to us backwards. If you watch something like Modern Family or you look at any magazines at the front of the grocery store, you're going to find that the celebrities, the people that are propped up, have polar opposite proportions to what is natural. And what is natural? I mean, I think it's natural. I know that it's natural for a woman to be soft and effeminate and to have rounded features and to have a smaller cranium and um, to generally be more reserved in manner. And a man is somebody who's more, not necessarily brash, but upfront and in their gaze. When you meet their gaze, it's far more intense than a woman's gaze. A woman's gaze is much softer and friendlier and cushy. So the world we live in today, 99% of males, people that identify as male out there, they often have hair pieces, and really what they are women with penises. So as you can see, I got a little micro going down here. And, this is obviously a ridiculous depiction. I don't even have ears. This is like really sloppy. I make art, but this wasn't just fun. Yeah, these are the wizards. These are the Martins. This is everybody you see in the media that identifies as male. If you really look at them, they have sloped shoulders, and they're usually hairless. They're usually, low in hair. They're wearing a hairpiece, and that's indicative of hormone abuse. So they get facial hair and then they lose other hair, and it's confusing. I think they even wear like beards and all this stuff. So then the witches, these are the domineering women of the world who fight for women's rights. The Madonnas and the Michelle Obamas and the Melania Trump, etc. I mean, these people, they look intimidating. They're scary. In my life, I mean, my mom, the big one that stands out, but French teacher, art teacher. I mean, there's so many brash, not necessarily, again, not necessarily brash, but intimidating, intense personalities in my formal education, um, that had I known at the time, I would have chuckled a little bit because it just it takes to another level because there's the overcompensating. Okay, so yeah, this is something it's turning into. So MTF or Swires. I'm not trying to be mean spirited about this. I'm just saying it's kind of comical, where they tend to overcompensate. That's their giveaway because they're trying to pass, but a lot of them are Pretty in Pink. I just think of that Reese Witherspoon movie where she's the lawyer. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, Legally Blonde. Yeah, like that kind of thing where like they have to beautify themselves to a ridiculous degree to not look like an outright man. And there are some that don't pass whatsoever, and there's some that I've always known look intimidating and scary, but I just didn't make the connection until I decided, oh, okay, bone structure is really the indicating factor of what a true what the true gender of the human being is, and that there is a club, and the club is all around us, and it is this gender inversion thing, and X transforming X. You see the X symbol everywhere, but that's what it is. So these are the wizards and witches. This is what makes up Hogwarts. I remember specifically, like as a regular man, regular dude, a lot of my guy friends, guy, not really guy, Free Martin friends, were lusting over what's her name, the Harry Potter chick, Hermione. And I'm just like, I don't get it. It looks like a teenage boy. I remember thinking that distinctly, but I didn't say it. I just was like, I don't get it. And I'll admit, like I have masturbated and like had dirty thoughts to some of these strats, but I repent and I am disgusted, and I've even dated and been with other swires and strats. I was somewhat promiscuous in my late teens and early 20s, and I think I slept around with many. I know I slept around with many swires and strats without not my knowledge, and without like really without really making the distinction. Like because I grew up on the whole like people come in many different sizes. So if they presented as women, generally, and she had the parts and everything. All the girls I was ever with always had the right parts, supposedly. I mean, like that. I've never been with, never pursued a gay lifestyle. Never been with a dude, and none of the girls I was with happened to have a penis. None of them were that. But yes, looking on it now, I guess Swire would be the correct. They were all Swire. I doubt that. I just feel like Castrato's less likely. But anyways, so then I think, you know, people have hinted at the fact that, or not the fact, but the notion that many women today go along with it, and I think this is true. I think they just kind of act more dude-like to make up for it, like because this is the image, this is a societal image. And I think some of them do it without knowing, and some of them do it with knowing, and others are just kind of lost in the mix and not trying to step over anybody's feet, like just like anybody would. But you have to call this stuff out when you realize how bad it is. And but basically, like these are the two regulars, and this is comical depictions too. But you can see the features, you can see like the bones is really what I'm talking about. Like he doesn't even have the bulge. Obviously, he'd have a normal bulge, and high eyebrows and square shoulders, or it's rectangular features versus rounded features that account for the Q angle. And we're considered the Muggles, generally speaking. Like that's kind of the society. That's the society they would want. They want the depictions of Hollywood. Women characters are in there infrequently, and when they are, it's like a small bit role, and they're often made fun of for being fat. And that's because that's what the agenda is to make regular people out to be Muggles, like they're not as beautiful, etc., etc. And I got shamed a lot for being skinny growing up. I know a lot of women that get shamed for being fat, but that's what we naturally are, and those are our natural proportions. And we don't try to stir up a fire. I mean, generally speaking, the people in my life that have been the antagonists have been these people, and they definitely stir up a fire. So, um, yeah, this is the paradigm that we live in, and I don't know how long it's been going on for. I have met a fellow real man, but the circumstances, we were stoned, we were with a couple of other free martins. The circumstances were as such that I'm still looking for regular men friends. They're not that common. Most people are free martin, so when you find a real man, like that is something that's special, because I mean, someone with a low Adam's apple, square shoulders, hair on their legs, hair on their arms, skinny. That's the natural thing of a man. Like people used to say all the time, like high metabolism. That's what it was. That's what got me through and everything. And maybe there's something to that, but I think the reality was that. And then also the whole endomorph, mesomorph, ectomorph thing. That's a big excuse for free martins, or really either side of this spectrum, where it's like it just accounts for, oh no, like we're not different. They are totally different than us. They're having all these surgeries. They're not just regular. Like I don't. There's a lot more going on there. This is what is being outcasted, and has been for a long time. This is why you have to go to the Bible. You have to understand what this means. They don't say it directly, but yeah, we are in a stage where men are rarer than the gold of Ophir. There are signs in the heavens, and we need to be strong in acknowledging um, what is righteous. And I'm not saying that these people are all bad. I'm not saying that. Like they may just be born this way. They may have good spirits and be kindred and so forth, and not know what they are. I'm just saying that the people that are in power are this, and they know they're this, and they may even be just straight up cross dressers. Like I think Donald Trump probably has a vagina. I think that you know, like there's that New Zealand prime minister who just straight up has a penis. I mean, Michelle Obama seems to have a penis. Like I think the ones that are on that level, they just straight up are cross dressers. So they make the world confusing. Everything's backwards in that sense, and yeah, I think you be strong in the word and be strong in your truth, and know that they really have nothing that they can do. Like, I mean, like they can just harass you and say stupid fake things like, "Oh, oh, this is the greatest thing on the planet, and you can look at them weird and be like, yeah, you believe in a bizarre fake paradigm, and don't allow that to get in the way of your exploration. You see, there's a whole litany of fantasies that these people have brewed up, and it's up to us to sort through what's true and actually explore this place and do what we can with the time we have, and save lost sheep, tell these truths, and speak out, because if we don't do it, no one will. And it's sad because people won't recognize what, and they'll harm themselves. Like, they may get vaccinated because they don't know this stuff. They might. It's possible. They may do something stupid. They may follow a group of people who are throwing hand signs and treating them poorly because they want to fit in. I mean, I've been there. I've done that. I've done stupid things for these people that just treated me like dog shit from step one. And it's consistent to this day. It really hasn't changed. Like, they're everywhere. So every day I am dealing with them, and they're not direct. They can be sneaky, but I feel generally a lot of the time they don't want, well, they're very critical, and they are elusive with their messages. They'll say one thing, do another, and um, it's not, again, like, it's not 100% across the board, but it's a significant number of them. It's most of them. Um, and I think that you do have people that don't know what they are just because there are so few real men. But in terms of the Swire thing, oh yeah, you better believe it. All of them know what they are. Like, there is no way anybody in this category doesn't know what they are. There's enough real women out there that they all know what they are. So an argument on that would be a little bit ridiculous. So then going forward on this, yeah, I mean, you have to test the spirits. That's what we're here to do. You can't just take everything blindly and say, oh, everything's great with the really cheap confectioner's glaze over the top of it. I mean, there's something to be said for the fact that architecture these days is so redundant and boring, and how people lead with money instead of with ideas. I mean, I think that broadening our horizons, it is inevitably hampered by this club, but we still should make the things. Maybe do them anonymously and then put them out, and then the world can be made better, but from an anonymous sense. It doesn't. If someone else takes credit for it, if someone Thomas Edison's the thing, then that's fine. What I'm referring to is, say if you wanted to invent or create like a flying apparatus, flying machine, that you could do so anonymously, and then it does get created, and then yeah, life is better because of it, and you can know that you helped to create it, or you did create it, and then it just is. You don't have to have patented it. You realize the corruption of this world doesn't you don't need to know that oh, you got X amount of money from it or whatever. No, none of that's involved with it. It's purely your ideas. So I guess for the rest of this video, I've rambled a little bit. But for the rest of this video, I want to just talk about annoying things that they do and what I've seen from my perspective. So, okay, so let's focus on the Martins, right? So I work with Martins. I mean, I've been around mostly Martins because I'm a dude, and I mean, there's varied ones. A lot of them are just quiet. Most of them are probably just quiet, and they don't want to interact with me, and they only interact with me if they have to. That is the most common thing with Martins. Um, and when they do interact with me, they're pretty short, and they're the expert. Like, they're the one who knows anything, and they don't really ask me questions. And it's so hokey, and only a few of them really will, like, look to me for guidance or actually ask questions and want to be friends. And I remember specifically when I was a teenager, when one of my best childhood friend, who I hung out with most, was let in on this knowledge, or just hit a certain level of this knowledge where he really cut ties and he became a different person, and it was hard. But really, ever since that, I've never had the intimacy with Martin, and it's sad. It's like my whole life, like really half my life, up until this point, I haven't had intimacy with somebody who happens to have this skeleton and has this gender identity, because they always have a better friend who they hang out with me, and they're just in on those secrets together, and that's just what it is. It sucks. So then on the other side of things, like my work, like the people that I do a lot of things with, the people that I talk to a lot, end up being, I mean, are they witches? I think, yeah, in many cases they are. They're lying. They're pretending that this is paradigm is real, saying that, you know, we're going through the pandemic, and the Earth is a globe, and all this. Like they're all just kind of joking and gesturing about with this, but when you put that stuff aside, I mean, they seem to have decent spirits. I mean, if you're allowing that paradigm to just fade and you just don't even bring that stuff up, then it seems like there's some good spirits there. So that's maybe what I should look to, and what we should look to is that in both senses, in any sense, any person, is just look to that. But have to acknowledge it. Yeah, they're louder, much louder. Um, they do their own thing. So yeah, these are definitely like a man. The man runs out. The way I am, like I don't want to wait for people. I do my own thing. Um, I hate I like my alone time. I like not being hindered, but at the same time, I like anybody. I need to be with people, and I need to engage and learn with people, and listen and so forth. So, anyways, um, yeah. So Swire have definitely been more instructional in my life than Martins. Martins really don't want to spend much time with me, and when they do, it's minimal. So yeah, that's been that. Um, and then Yeah, I guess the awkward thing is women, right? So women, you can't. It's hard to tell thinking back, like who's snared by the cult, who doesn't know. Hard to say, but like thinking about overall, it's like yeah, I mean they're people, and I think some of them have an inkling and are genuine and nice, and I think some of them have no clue what are nice, and some of them just try to imitate this, and it's sad because it's like you're not that, you're not Angelina Jolie, Charlize Theron, whatever. You're you, and you're beautiful for the way you are. You don't have to imitate a completely different being, a different skeleton. It's so awkward, so weird. And then real men, I mean, they seem chill. Like as far as the one I think I've met, um, yeah, I think we've taken on a relaxed approach. I think that's what we have to do, because if we, like, I remember there was this scenario where my buddies and I were going college searching. This is my Martin buddies, and so it's like late high school, maybe like junior or senior year. I don't remember what exactly, but um, we were going college searching. We were going to check out colleges, and one car had already broken down, so we're taking out my car, and I accidentally left the e-brake on, and the brakes gave out, and we had to go into oncoming traffic. And I had forewarned them this had to happen, and they were getting like for a good reason. They were nervous and hair on end as I went into oncoming traffic and then left into the grassy patch beyond the stop line. And then a cop came by and asked if we were okay and everything. But I guess what I'm trying to get at with this story is that um, I knew then I had to have this grounded approach. Like even in the face of like just the worst shit possible, because you're gonna face some crazy shit. You have to be calm. And there are some truths in the media that we are exposed to. And just because there is a thing going on doesn't mean there isn't a human element. So referencing this situation, if you're familiar with Harry Potter and the first film, Ronald Weasley gets all freaked out when he's ensnared by the bramble, the vines, and the other two, Hermione and Harry, fall right through the vines because they're calm. So Ron has to calm down in order to get through this crazy scenario. And yeah, that's the reality. Like we live in a crazy bullshit world, and we can speak the truth. That is our strength. They can't really do that. Like they're writing scripts and being weird. People Magazine, Robot Freak people, um, and we can choose how to respond to them. We can be honest, and that's what's cool. That's our gift. And we don't have to be offensive. Just like doves, explain ourselves and move on. Like it doesn't nothing we're doing is harmful. So yeah, that's an optimistic way to end this video. Again, not all the wizards are wishes, but if you know about this stuff and you're not telling the truth, then what are you doing? Like this, we should not grow up in a world where we're teaching people all this fake stuff and then just letting everything run like that. So, um, yeah. God bless you all and have a good night.